we're back.
Hey.
All right, so when we left, Grodan had been investigating his brother who was acting a little strange. You have had a great feast. So the town celebrated your existence. The fact that you got back, even though it's just Grodan that got back. You snuck around the town. Didn't really find a whole lot interesting. You found it's a very boring little town with not a lot of magic. Grodan got his sword sharpened by the expert craftsman and blacksmith that is his father. And then he set up and waited for his brother to sneak back into the house. He did. And Grodan confronted him, trying to intimidate him. In the process, it did intimidate him. He was quite afraid. So afraid, he broke cover and paralyzed Grodan with a spell, of all things. By the way, Grodan's brother is not a caster, or wasn't a caster. So we know that. We know that in the process of coming back in the house, Bringan's alarm did go off. We covered that at the last second. The alarm has gone off. Bringan, you hear a bing in your head, and you realize that something has broken the plane of the house. But the door you're in is closed, or in front of is closed. The window you can see out is perfectly closed, and still intact. It's not like someone broke the window. What do you do?
At that point, Brigham would grab his sword, say, I sure hope it's no cat or something, and start trying to patrol the house.
All right, so
he'll make a racket if he finds something he doesn't like.
So you go wandering through the house?
Yes.
Okay. The conversation took all of about 5 minutes. In the process, as you're creeping through the house, you hear Grodan's voice, because Grodan cannot whisper. He talks a very consistent monotone no matter where he talks, and you hear him telling his brother that, I wish you the best, but I will protect this city. And at that,
I'll protect our people.
Yes, and at that, things go really silent. Roll a perception check. I want to see if there's one piece of information you get or not.
Perception, you say?
Perception, yes.
Just double checking. Okay. Oh.
Exclamation, not R, yeah.
Sorry, still learning.
Yep, no worries. 3! You didn't hear a thing. So, that's the last you hear.
Would he not see that Grodan is now on the floor?
The door is closed. So no, you do not see that. You would see... Yeah, he was not being particularly stealthy about it. You would see a little flash of light coming from under the door. And how much do you weigh, Grodan?
I think he weighs like...
Grodan weighs a lot. Grodan weighs 550 pounds.
Ooh. So he would have a lot. All right. You definitely.
And he's still wearing his armor at that point too, so he's probably even heavier.
Yeah. So you hear from the other side this grunting and shifting and sliding. Almost like a struggle.
Okay. Cast Detect Magic and then knock on the door.
All right.
Someone in there?
You see the outline of maybe someone slightly taller than you, but not Loxodon sized, as the door opens. And you see this strange elf man tugging and pulling on Grodan, who is standing very rigidly. He's not limp. It's almost as if he's been statuized.
Do something about it.
Yeah, he's going. Bringen's gonna. So does he? He doesn't recognize the person, right?
Nope.
I think I rolled a 2 at perception, so I would not.
You would know it is not the brother. That's all you would know. You didn't. You rolled low on perception, so you don't know who it is or what he is. But it's not the brother.
Well, no matter what, I can't tell who it is, and if I don't know who it is, they're not friendly. So at this point, Bringen goes, "Up, everybody up!" and starts like banging on the wall and
All right.
shouting.
Everybody would definitely hear that. This person drops Grodan, like just steps back. Grodan falls, poof, and the person jumps out the window and starts to run.
I go run up to Bringen. I go find him. What happened?
Someone just came in, Grodan's on the ground, and they're running.
Grodan, it
And
has
at that
been a
point-
good 6 seconds. Go ahead and give me another wisdom saving throw. I didn't check to see if Grodan was back before we went live. Is
Yep,
Grodan
doing
back?
it now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I should have asked before I said that.
Oh, wait, no. 11. I can't roll Indomitable again. Dang it.
I'm
Sorry,
going
man.
to jump out the window and give chase,
All right.
assuming that's where.
You do so. You see you look ahead and you notice this person is not limping or struggling. They are moving very well. And it is not a Loxodon. It looks to be long, flowing brown hair, elven in stature, very thin and agile.
Can I do it? Okay,
He's probably a good 60 feet in front of you. You're keeping pace with him, but it would take a lot for you to be able to catch up to him. He is moving
I'll
at a
keep
full
pace.
sprint. All right.
Is it too late? Beskar jumped after him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So would it be too late if Bringen did guidance as a cantrip?
No, you could see him going through the window and go, "Nah!" and, do so.
Okay, I do that then.
So you have guidance for the next, I think it's 10 minutes or 1 minute.
Up to 1 minute at a D4, 1d4 to 1 ability check.
All right. So you, Bringen, are in the room with a very non-moving Grodan. And where's Aslaniv in all this?
Azaniv, when he heard bring in, he was walking in right as Beskar was jumping out the window.
Okay. You do so. You see Beskar leap through the window in like one big jump.
Did I
Bringen-
see his face?
You have not seen his face. You can make a perception check to see if you could have gotten a glimpse from the side or something.
Sure.
Oh, side note,
I will
Bringen has
add a D4 to that.
You could add your 1d4 to that. Yes. What was that bringing?
I was gonna say I have a passive insight of 15.
All right.
So
That's a total of 10.
Yeah. For a total of 10, he looks very elven. You didn't see any facial details that you recognized. It's not you're convinced that you don't know the person, but that's about all you know.
Okay.
As Neve turns back on, what the heck happened?
Well, my alarm came off. Someone we didn't know walked into this room, and then I saw Grodan standing. Grogan was
Who's still laying on the
floor,
floor,
being dragged.
very unmoving, wide-eyed, stiff.
I don't
I sounded like this, and then the person jumped out the window. Do you have anything for this?
I can't dispel magic currently. And it's not a curse, I don't believe.
You don't know.
Looks like he's gonna have to write it out.
Let me see about that.
Smack. You wanna give me another roll, Grodan?
Could I give him advantage since I just smacked him?
Sure. There we go. Grodan, you see his body finally relax as he takes a deep breath. And Grodan, what you saw in the moments before your vision went dark was a very white presence. White hair erupting from your brother's otherwise fairly bald head. And his form shrink down to a very familiar white form that you've seen before.
Does he recognize specifically which one it was?
No, but you do know the race.
That was not my brother.
Ooh, and after all that you did to convince them that changes couldn't change.
As far as we knew, they couldn't.
Yep.
At this point, Bringen goes, well, would this work? And casts Disguise Self to try and look like Grodan.
Disguise Self has limitations as far as growing limbs, etc. You look like a faceless feature, like someone has taken your trunk and shaved it off. You have gray skin and features, like wrinkles and hands that look very much Loxodon-ish, but you don't have tusks or trunk or big floppy ears.
That was somehow a changeling.
I'm still giving chase.
Mm-hmm. You are still chasing. Give me a...
Grodan's going to jump out the window and start running after him as well.
A Constitution check, not saving throw. Just, I want to see how... Are you winded? And I'm going to do the same for him. Ha! Okay, go ahead now.
What's my Constitution?
Meanwhile, are the parents up?
The parents come crashing in. What's going on? What is in it? What's going on here? What's the meaning of this? Disrupting my house.
The person that was here was not Drexlor.
What do you mean? He's been here for weeks, months almost.
It was not Drexlor. And
Beskar.
as Grodan says that, he's jumping out the window and like sprinting as fast as he can towards...
All right, you jump out the window. You're not sure where everyone went because there is a alleyway behind the house. You run up the alley and you look out and you see way in the distance Beskar just hauling ass, and he's moving.
Grodan's going to do the same.
You do so, and eventually, Beskar, you see the guy in front of you. He's running through the town, goes out the main gates, and there's a hill that is at a good 45-degree angle that goes down to the lower river that I've shown before. Let me put the map up.
As Grodan's running, he's going to start trumpeting like the alarm call.
Ah, all right. As you do,
Oh dear.
there are guards at the gate, although they don't. There are more guards than you've seen ever before, but that's not saying much because ever before this is a very secluded place. No one really threatened you. There are actually guards posted now because of the Mirabar incident. Put this up. So as you're running, he's coming out this gate, and this area right here is a very deep downward slope that goes down to this lower river of ice melt. And he rolled a natural 1, so he trips over his own feet because he's just tired. He was sprinting the whole way, and just begins to roll down toward the river, slowing down. He's not. The roll has slowed him, and you could probably catch up to him now, even though you rolled a 5.
All right.
He rolled a 1, so. You
will...
trumpet, and as you do, the guards look around and they see him pass, and they realize that is not a Loxodon, and begin to give chase as well. So there's 2 guards and now Beskar closing in on him very quickly.
Okay. I don't think I need to cast any spells at this point.
He eventually stops rolling
and tries
to stand up, and as he does, the 2 Loxodon go to dogpile him. He is going to make, before we go any kind of initiative, he's going to do like a surprise, because they're not expecting it. Oh, another 1. He goes to cast a spell, and they just, like, football tackle. He's pinned instantly.
Oh, wait. I will cast silence on him so that he can't cast spells.
All right. So you cast silence in the area around him, but in that area, and the guards get up and start going, and they can't talk, and they're very confused, but he's just sitting back, eyes wide, pinned down by one of them.
I'm going to stand 20 feet away and just go, I cast silence. Can I still tell?
Yes, you are a bit winded. Grodan comes up behind you while you're catching your breath.
He can't cast spells. No one over there can.
They hold up the thumbs like, good plan, but they can't say that. But they're like,
I'm just gonna lie down here.
Grodan runs over to him and just like punches him right in the head, like.
To the elf?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, roll damage. Or attack, excuse me. I realized that afterward I said the wrong thing.
Non-lethal, question mark?
And I'm assuming he's probably not hard to hit since he's being held by other Loxodon.
He's not hard to hit, and he's not armored. He is as plain clothed as it can be. 10 is his armor class. So you do hit. How much damage are you doing, and are you doing lethal?
No, he's just trying to knock him out.
Okay.
6.
That is not enough to knock him out, but you do leave a pretty good-sized bruise on his forehead. He would have screamed, holy hell, if it had not been for the silence bubble. You see his mouth open. But that's all.
Jerry, I cannot see your...
Yeah, I can't either.
Uh-oh,
but
did I
fall? Grodan pulls out his torch of true seeing and activates a charge.
Okay, you light it up, and his form immediately, it doesn't shift, it just becomes the white form. And it's not that he's shifted into that, it's just that you are truly seeing it as it really is. And you see a white form changeling pinned on the ground, and the guards almost let him up, they're so surprised. He scrambles and they grab him.
Does Grodan recognize him now? Because he would have seen all the changelings in their true form in the Changeling City.
But they all look the same.
They do look remarkably similar.
Let's say. I was about to say the same thing. You think all Loxodon look the same? Probably.
But changelings literally almost do look the same?
They actually do have... They have no facial features, which makes them which is why they have such crazy hairstyles, etc., when they're in their white form, and outfits, etc., because they want to...
The only way to tell them apart.
Yeah, they want to be individuals still. But yeah,
I picture
facially...
it hilariously as they do all actually look the same, but every single one of them can tell the difference. So they get really offended when they're told that they all look the same.
Yeah.
In their true form.
So roll a history check, Grodan, to see if you can remember this specific particular person. Remember when you told me before the game that this roller was really good to you, and you didn't want to change rollers?
It hasn't been tonight.
I think it hurt you. I'm just saying. Six.
Never tempt the dice deities.
I am also there. I can also try.
You can.
I'm just saying. I would have had I had a game where I rolled like 6 nat 20s almost back to back. Like
very close. Yes. You wore them all out for that game, though.
I mean, I've rolled better more than I've rolled worse, I think.
Did you say a history check?
History, yes. History. Just to see from your own history, what do you remember?
14.
14. You think you have seen this guy before. He looks familiar. Maybe in the barracks behind Althea's temple? You're not sure, but that kind of rings a bell.
I think this guy was in the barracks in Daxlita. I could be wrong, though.
Grodan is going to get like some cloth out and like gag him, and then he's going to help bind his hands and feet and stuff.
The guards pick him up off the ground, and you are very easily able to do that, and he's just glaring, pissed at you.
And Grodan,
but he acquiesces.
He motions for the guards to follow him.
Yep. And as you leave the area, the silence fades, and you begin to hear crickets and footsteps and movement again.
And Grodan kind of looks over at Beskar and kind of hints to stay outside of the range of the
of the glowing light, but the glowing light isn't the rain. It doesn't illuminate their forms. It allows people who are within the light to see truly.
So the guards would have seen Beskar
They
too.
see Beskar in his true white form as well.
And Grodan looks at them and holds his hand up and points at him and is like, like as to say, like, he's with me.
Yeah, we got it. And they're standing outside of the space now. Right?
Oh, yeah, now they're moving outside of it, yeah.
Kind of figured when he chased him down and sounded the alarm, but thank you.
By order of the War Master, take him to the Grand Hall.
Yes, sir. He grabs him by the scruff of the shirt and almost picks him up. I mean, he's not very heavy. He just carries him.
And Grodan lets out kind of like the alarm call, but like the
all clear,
like the war alarm, like the war alarm call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like to make sure that people are up and at 'em and ready to go.
As you do that, you see, probably 10 seconds later, people, guards who are coming out of the guardhouse near each of the gates, putting on their armor and stumbling out and grabbing their swords, and they are ready to go. They believe, that end is here, basically.
As he's walking by them, he says, "Man posts, be prepared. If
yes,
anyone
sir.
Is acting,
is it Mirabar?
If anyone is acting outside, it is not. If anyone is acting outside of their normal self, detain them for questioning."
Yes, sir. Well, I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I'll do my best, sir. They seem very sincere, like they're going to do exactly what you said.
Allow me to clarify. If anyone is trying to leave the city,
we lock down the gates, sir,
until I can question them.
Yes, sir. No one can in or out. All right. They nod and stand in front of there isn't gates on they're just open spaces between the walls. The walls don't act as protection as much as they do very massive radiators that keep the area quite pleasant. So this particular area doesn't have gates on the walls per se, but they do stand in front of it as blocking points of egress. You cannot go in or out without passing probably 10 guards each gate. And Loxodon guards are not to be trifled with. So they do so. Bringen is still back at the house, and Vesmoya and Grossmore are standing there, trying to figure out what just happened. And he says something to because you said that was not Dexlor, and he says
Drexlor.
Well, then who was it then? Who was in my house?
I don't know, but if I get an hour to prepare and our friends capture them, we may be able to provide some information. And for that, Bringen goes to open his book and prepares a couple of spells.
All right.
Particularly at this moment, Zone of Truth, Protection from Evil and Good, Detect Magic, Comprehend Languages.
So,
all right.
Of course, they're all asking about that while the chase is happening, but
right.
I'm assuming that they would have heard
right about
calls.
Yeah, right about when he sits down to start studying for an hour, you hear the trumpet of two arms, basically.
Aslaneve asked Grossmore, he's like, what is that noise?
Someone is calling to arms, quick! And he reaches back into the main living room area, picks up his sword, which you now see, and he rushes out the front door.
All right.
Vesmoya
grabs his things and he follows Grossmore.
Vesmoya reaches back and goes back into the bedroom. She throws on a robe real quick, grabs a book, and runs out as well. And so you're all running through, leaving Bringen in the bedroom to finish preparing and head out, and you see two guards hauling the elf that you recognize now as the brown-haired elf back up. Do you still have the lamp going, Grodan?
Yes.
All right. So, although you are not within range for the lamp to take effect, those who are walking near Grodan can see the person in his true form.
And Grodan's keeping an eye out and looking for any other.
Yeah, I believe that effect lasts for an hour, so you could basically scour the town with the torch out, the true seeing torch out. And I'll give you an hour and a perception check if that's what you'd like to do.
Okay, so he's going to start going around, but he's going to tell the two guards, take him to the Grand Hall.
Yes, sir.
Keep him gagged and bound until I arrive.
Yes, sir. Yes, War Master. They obviously recognize the sword and your rank and are dutifully obeying.
Grodan is going to start just looking around the city, walking around the walls and looking in, because I'm assuming that pretty much every Loxodon is out at this point. So
when you said two arms, or the call thereof, yeah, pretty much every fighting person, male and female, they believed Mirabar was attacking, and so you have the entire city coming out, and as you're walking down the street, what's going on? Are you okay? Is someone called to arms?
There is a threat. Everyone needs to be vigilant.
For what? What am I looking for? If
anyone attempting to leave the city, or anyone acting unlike their normal self, detain them.
All right, yes, sir. And you have to repeat that statement probably 30 times as you're wandering around, but we won't roleplay that. But you get the idea. Every time you see someone, you have to pretty much repeat the same mantra,
and
you get pretty much the same answer back. Okay,
Roll
yes,
the
sir.
21 to perception.
Ooh, all right. So you are walking around, and you are fairly certain you checked all the nooks and crannies, and you have your torch out, and you go from place to place behind various barrels and in every alleyway. You are scouring the city, and you have a couple of the guards that had that you picked up from the second gate. Kind of, you instruct them to do the same with the 21. You are able to scour the whole place, and you know that you feel very confident that the streets are clear. You didn't go into every single house and every single building, but the streets themselves, you are able to search and clear.
Well, I would assume that anyone who didn't answer a call to arms, that would be considered as strange and not like themselves.
Correct. So, as you're going by houses, you're knocking on doors just to see if anyone is still in there, and you see some people coming out with swords. That's thus why you have to continually repeat your, what's going on, yada yada. But you don't see anybody who's purposely trying to hide or stay in the shadows. And you believe you've investigated very well.
Once he does that, he's going to make his way to the Grand Hall.
You do so. The Grand Hall is... I know you guys have lost visual. I apologize about that. Tell you what, let me restart Google Meet and see what happens. I will be right back. The stream will still hear me, but you guys won't. So give me just a second. I have to restart the meet.
Gotta figure out where your brother is.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak too soon because it is possible you could escape.
Do I have a camera yet? I can't see.
Not if you break his legs.
Yeah, we still can't see it.
All right, I apologize. Well, toward the...
I don't have a problem with theater of the mind.
Yeah, I know. I'm a very visual person, so I like that. But you go back toward the main palace, and just off to the side of that, there are some buildings, etc. The bigger area is a jail-like structure. There's not a lot of need for jail here, as most Loxodon are fairly law-abiding, law-keeping, lawful citizens, like truly lawful in the grand D&D schema of things. There are very few needs for a jail system. So it's basically a series of holding cells that they use very rarely. But he is thrown into a holding cell, bound and gagged, and when you arrive, Grodan, an hour later, Bringen is coming out into the street, finally prepared. I assume you would have seen Grodan scouring the city and then walking back.
Yes. At which
You do
point
so?
I would be like, where's the prisoner?
Oh,
This way.
no.
Excellent.
No, I'm gonna die.
So yeah.
You're not gonna die? Why are you gonna die?
Beskar, I'm assuming you stayed with him, right?
With the guy, I was assuming I stayed with Grodan, but I could go with. You can see what I went with the guards. Yeah. Yeah, because I would want to make.
I would have preferred. I think that Grodan would have directed you probably to go with him because you understand. Yeah. So Grodan's gonna head back to He's gonna head to the Grand Hall and.
All right, you get inside, and there he is, sitting in a cell. He has two guards standing on either side of the cell, and one guarding the front door. As you come in, he salutes you with the famous Loxodon salute that we have yet to determine. But he salutes you.
Standing outside the cell.
Good evening, sir. We held him as you requested.
Is he still gagged?
Yes, sir. We haven't removed his bindings at all. We figured it was for our own safety.
Azaniv, where's Azaniv at?
He probably could have seen Grodan scouring and followed, or whatever you wanted to do. You tell me what was he trying to do?
I guess I'm I guess I'm gonna follow Grodan, and after he rendezvous with bring in, and we finally get back to the thing, and he was and as he asked about Grodan's asking about removing the gag or whatever, as in he's like, why should we buy just in case he casts spells? Some spells don't need somatic components.
You seem to know a lot about magic.
I like to think so.
Be good to have you around then, yes.
Speaking of magic, I begin casting Detect Evil and Good.
All right.
For the duration, if you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet.
None of those are within 30 feet, but it is duly cast, and you are quite confident you are free from aberrations, undead, etc., etc.
Okay. I then go and do Detect Magic.
You see this charm around the prisoner's neck glowing very brilliantly, and you do find a couple. No, they're not magical. So no, that is the magical effect you see.
Let's point that out.
Do you want it out?
All right. I then
Bring do you point that out to everybody, or do you hold that information to yourself?
I first ask, can I approach the creature?
To the guard?
Yes.
Well, right now
he looks to Grodan for like, may he? I don't know. You're in charge, sir. He doesn't say that, but he just kind of.
Beskar,
turns to
Aslaneve, thoughts?
Well, I'm here just in case there's magic. In case he casts things, I'll defend us from that. Everything else, and whatever you ask me to do. You're the war master here.
You have counter spell?
He does.
Yes, he
Grodan's going to walk up to him and take the gag out.
He coughs and
you may approach
my
Bringen.
business.
Your business has brought you to a very dangerous place, friend.
That's a nice necklace. Mind if I grab it?
He just sits there and
he has no say in the matter.
You. His hands are tied behind his back, but he just glares at you.
I go behind his back, unlock it, hand it to Aslaneve, and say, speaking of magic, this is for you, I think. It's magical, but on account that I have not been attempted to be possessed, it should be safe.
Okay, well, we'll identify this later. I don't want to be distracted. And he just puts the amulet in his bag.
I can hold it in the bag of holding.
As you look at that, well, do you hand it to Beskar?
Oh no, I'm gonna keep it in my bag.
Okay.
I have plenty of room.
Offer.
So as you look at it, you realize you've seen this particular kind of device before. It has this etching on the front. Give me a history check for you of your history, your knowledge, because we haven't done a history for you on this particular topic yet.
Ooh, good. I've got good history.
On that note, is the creature...
Right now, I'm assuming he looks like an elf because my charge has expired.
Yeah, he's trying to maintain his elf appearance.
19.
19. You remember this symbol. You've seen this. Matter of fact, Ko and Beskar showed it to you recently. It's something on the back of a coin or something.
I vaguely remember this. I think it was a... Is it not the coin that we got from
my parents
when we were in Dakletha?
It's the coin that they got from their parents, yes.
The
letter. And the letter in the package?
Yep. Do you point that out to Beskar, or do you hold that information to yourself?
Yes. I turn to Beskar and held the necklace. I was like, remember this symbol.
I do. I don't know what it means, though. We could ask him.
Why would they have it?
Well, this guy is a changeling from Dax.
I can barely hear you, Beskar.
Yeah, you're a little soft.
Bring in kind of like gives him like the cut neck, like, no, stop talking, don't.
This guy is a changeling from Daxletha, and I don't know what he's doing here, but I would like to know where this coin and symbol came from and what it means.
Grodan is going to, like, because he's way taller than him, he's going to, you know, like, get, like, just kneel down and, like, get, like, right in his face.
Okay.
You are going to talk, one way or another.
I have no doubt about that. But do your best. I'm used to this. This is what I do.
Why are you here?
To gain information. What else do we do? You've seen us work. You know how we operate. I'm just doing what we always do.
That talks of alliances between our people are further away due to these actions.
Yeah, because you want to make peace with them. Like Sorrel.
Stop.
Not to be a damper on this, but like the creature is speaking common, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as they're chatting, Bringen is going to draw a circle around them.
He watches. He's glaring at you and trying to keep an eye on Bringen.
And Grodan's gonna grab his hand and like grab his head and like put it, like hold it to where he's looking. You will look at me.
Okay.
We are having the conversation.
All right. Sure. Yep.
So yeah, the sphere is 15 feet out, and I cast the Zone of Truth.
All right.
And I say,
is it wisdom?
I know you don't. Charisma. 14.
Charisma.
Saves.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right. 12.
He fails.
Oh.
Until
All
the
right.
spell ends, the creature that has the spell's area, it starts its turn there on a failed save. Creature can't speak a deliberate lie whilst in the radius.
Right.
You know whether or not the creature succeeds or fails on its throw.
You would know.
The spell.
You would know.
Grodan too.
He feels this essence in his
Grodan
brain,
doesn't
and he's
lie
like,
anyway.
and he's like, crap. He's felt this before. This is a very common spell used within the city of Daxletha, and he's very aware of
remember.
it.
If I'm
what do you want to know?
My friend has made it to where you must speak the truth.
No kidding. Doesn't say you can't be snarky.
Wow, you consider me a friend. I appreciate that.
Althea.
What do you have to think about my cooking?
Who else? Who else did you expect? He's running the place now.
Who is?
He's going to do a much better job.
Is it just his cadre? Or or are his views held by all of the changelings?
No. His crew's like me. We're all that's left. Slaves or dead. Those are your two options when you're fighting us.
So are you a slave or are you dead?
He is a willing participant.
I'm the ruling class.
Where else have your people infiltrated?
Everywhere.
Specifically.
We have agents running all about. You'll find any given city at least one of us, at least within 100 miles of Daxletha. And you know I'm telling the truth.
Who is your
because
point
of
of
spell.
contact?
Althea, of course.
Who is your agent in Baldur's Gate?
He cannot purposely tell a lie, but doesn't mean he can't be shifty, correct? So he can tell the truth.
He doesn't have to talk if he doesn't want to.
Right.
He is not compelled to speak, nor does he...
Grodan can compel him to speak.
Yeah, he looks up and says, the jeweler. Which you actually kind of already knew, because that's who your parents sent you to get the letter from.
If I may, did you have any ill intent while here? This is a simple yes or no.
No. Didn't plan on hurting or killing anyone. Just needed information.
What happened to my brother?
He died in the war.
Grodan has like a little muscle twitch, like by his.
I can only imagine.
At this point, Bring-In will stand between Grodan and the prisoner.
That's not going to stop him, but okay.
Bring-In, I ask that you step aside. This is Loxodon business.
I don't believe that this is right for the people, regardless of how we want to do this. He needs to be tried. Yes, he needs to be
It is not your place to decide that here. Our laws are different. While I respect what you have brought to the table, I will handle this as is fit by a Loxodon.
Fair enough. If the Loxodon must do the Loxodon way, or Bring-In drops the zone of truth.
Wait, hold up. Punishment not yet. Grodan, hold on. Let's not kill him yet. We need more information from him.
I am not going to kill him.
Okay, that's good.
At that, the man smiles.
You cannot get information from someone once they are dead.
As Anif says,
you can, however, get information from them by inflicting a great deal of pain.
Bring-In goes to Aslaneve and whispers to him, I don't believe they keep the memory if you raise them. Side note,
Aslaneve says, I have many talents.
Side note, I don't think we should let anyone know that this is indeed a changeling.
I mean, the guards already know.
The guards know.
At least two of them do.
That is unfortunate.
And the War Master of the Loxodon knows, which means that the mistress will know, and so will the...
Well, as you're speaking of the mistress, as you're saying that, the mistress comes through the door, and the two guards step aside and give a quick salute, but immediately take, position again.
And Grodan stands up and like bows.
Yeah, she looks. What is this? An elf in our midst. This is unusual.
No, this is one of the faction that we spoke of from my friend's city.
This is a... She looks at the guards and kind of looks back again. This is a changeling.
Allow me.
And he did something troubling that I did not think was possible. He managed to disguise himself as a changeling, and that concerns me a lot.
As a Loxodon, you mean?
Am I to understand that you are no longer using this spell?
That would be correct. Is there anything that this... how do you communicate with your friend? Perhaps we have a more understanding approach.
I believe that you have trouble gleaning any of that information now with your spell gone. Mistress, do we have anyone who is able to compel him to speak the truth magically?
No, we're not a magical sort. I mean, your mother could try. She has some herbal remedies that I think might prove effective.
Has she arrived?
She will in very short time. Yeah, you know she was coming quickly behind you. If you would like to wait for her.
Is there a language that the changelings speak that is unique to them?
Actually, is there a changeling language? I honestly do
They
not
speak
know
Sylvan,
that.
I think.
I think it was Sylvan, but
Okay,
I could
that
be wrong.
makes sense. Because I think that's something you and your sister both had.
If it's Sylvan, then in that case, Bringen speaks in Sylvan and says,
Well, you wouldn't know because you've never met a changeling. So I'm answering you directly, but Bringen, he doesn't know.
Okay. So then Bringen would then ask the changeling, which is not Ko.
Beskar.
Sorry. Beskar. So he goes to Beskar and asks, is there a language that y'all speak?
Sylvan.
Okay. I'm a little bit rusty, but... And he goes off in Sylvan and says, I have no quarrel. These people obviously don't have your best interest at heart. You said that you were not here to cause harm. Perhaps we can figure something out.
He replies in Sylvan, what deal do you want to make? I like deals. Deals are handy.
Aslanif says, we're not making any deals.
Oh, you speak Sylvan as well?
Yes.
Grodan looks at both Aslaniv and Beskar because he doesn't speak Sylvan.
And
would you care to illuminate me on this conversation?
If you're gonna make a deal, make it quick. That's all I can say.
Aslanif says in common, we're not making any deals.
But Bringen just keeps going and is like,
Bringen. You do not have the authority to make deals with our prisoner.
But this may be the only way for you to have a chance at getting information, minus torture and your other barbaric ways.
Except
you had a way.
This is excessive, as this is not an eldritch threat.
Oh, even
I understand that you are a human. I understand that you are a human, and you do not understand the ways of other races, nor do you care to find most of the time, in my experience. Our people have been isolated for a long time.
Yes, he did.
And now we are looking to... Now we are looking to come back into the world.
Yeah.
Our ways are different, but this prisoner.
Yes, and this seclusion has provided you with wise tales and superstition. People can.
You know nothing of my people. You've been here one day.
Yes, and I've heard a lot about you from the ship, but did I believe all of them? No. I'm here to find out for myself, but from what I am learning, I am not liking your people.
Guards, remove him.
Yeah. I am not liking your people. Even the guards bristle a little, and they are very prideful people. And when you say that, they look over at you and go, "This way, sir," and grab, like, not forcibly, but forcibly. You know what I'm saying? They kind of put their hand on your shoulder and
bring it. Goes. Oh no! Allow me. And he opens the door, brings himself out, and then closes it.
As you're coming through, Vesmoya is rushing in, and she has to kind of step aside. Oh, excuse me, sorry. And steps inside.
Grodan goes over to the changeling again and says, I recommend that you assume your true form. I would prefer not to expend any more of my magic.
Why? Is it going to make you smile wider when you're beating up a helpless white form?
Yes.
No, but if you do not, you will be suffering pain.
I'll be suffering pain either way. Do your worst. He stays in his
That is not
elven
typically
form.
our way.
No?
But understand that we do take threats to our people very seriously.
I was no threat to you. Just learning about your ways. Your brother was dead anyway.
Which made you a threat.
I offered free exchange of my people's ways and knowledge of my people to avoid this kind of subterfuge.
Yeah, well. Your brother was
in my
already
opinion,
dead, and
is an act of war.
I just did what I was told to do.
I do not believe that your people are fit to go to war with mine.
You might be surprised. Besides, you run with one. You would know.
I know what you are capable of. But I also know what the army of the Loxodon is capable of.
Really? Was he able to change form? Like me?
Speaking of, how did you do that, by the way?
He just
Beskar,
smiles.
can you cast Zone of Truth?
He just smiles at you and sits there smugly. Doesn't say a word, but you can tell he's like, yeah, you want to know. He doesn't say those, but he just kind of grins.
Grodan
What
looks
is your
back.
name?
Mother, do you have any ways of
I have some
compelling someone to speak the truth?
I have some potions, but well, I have to make them and take some fairly rare agents, and then you have to get it down his throat, which I imagine we could do creatively. She just glares at him. Would you like me to get started on that?
Please.
She opens her book and begins drawing this circle on the ground, and you've never known your mother to be a caster type. But she seems to be doing something ritualistic, and you're not exactly sure what is going on.
Alright, so Grodan's going to fire up his torch and use another charge.
Alright, so you expend another charge.
What she's casting?
She is doing an Arcana check. This is it's a mix of arcane and other things. Let me see if you can understand
like
what
alchemy?
is actually happening.
Is it like an alchemy or like a spell?
28! Holy mackerel! Yeah, you understand very explicitly. There is a little bit of alchemy going on. She's going to set up, you see her pull out this little Bunsen burner-like thing with a wick at the end of it. She lights the wick and starts this water boiling, but she puts it in the center of this rune circle that she's drawn. And so she's imbuing the potion with what appears to be it's not zone of truth, but a truth-based magic.
Interesting.
Yeah. Could you hand me the water jug over there, please?
Azaniv does so.
She pours some into the vial she's got set above the Bunsen burner, and go on. I'll be done in about 10 minutes.
I need you to understand that we take no delight in hurting someone in anything short of a fair fight.
Then give me a sword. Let's make it a fair fight.
You would not last. I need you alive.
Says you.
I will cast Detect Thoughts and say, what is your name and how did you change into a Loxodon?
All right.
Very cool.
Are you digging deep or are you doing surface thought?
Surface thought for now.
You hear.
To see what he answers.
Yeah, you hear in your head, like I'd ever tell that asshole.
Didn't think so. All right, guess we're going deep. That sounded way out.
All right, so it is a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, let me check. I didn't actually look. It's always the bard that says it.
You're a bard?
Yeah. He says questioningly.
It's wisdom what?
Wisdom 15.
15. Oh, he looks at you and you can feel the magic swirling around him, and he just kind of twists his head a little bit, and the magic goes and dissipates. Nice try.
All right, I'll try again.
And as he does that, Grodan is going to grab one of his fingers and break it.
Oh! All right, he's tied. It's
to
a
kind
coup
of
de
throw
grace.
him off.
Yeah, it's a coup de grace. You
not
do
preferred.
succeed. I know you have the strength to do it, so I'm not even going to give you a strength roll. You just hear this sickening snap, and he screams like I cannot possibly scream at Ah! What was that?
That was the beginning.
I told you that I take no pleasure in this.
He definitely he rolled a 2. That definitely threw him off his game. You are hearing him. You asked a question. He's not focused on the question. You hear instead.
He's cursing right now.
No. You hear instead that these thoughts of get the necklace, just get the necklace, just get the necklace. I can survive if I can just get my hands on it. I just got to get it. How do I get out of this?
All right. I will
10 minutes.
I
just have 10 minutes.
I will go to Aslanleaf and relay that information. That he has something. He only has 10 minutes, and he needs to get to the necklace. So we should maybe hide it.
Aslanleaf says, "Oh, I doubt he'll be able to take on all of us in this room, magic included."
What if?
Yeah, they're not letting Brigand back, is they?
No. You've pissed off a very staunch, proud people.
Good.
How do I say this?
The high-ranking ones.
How do I say this nicely? Elephants have long memories, and Loxodon have even longer.
You're done goofed.
And culturally speaking, the Loxodon are like they go to war, but they're very peaceful. Like they take more pride in like their other stuff until like it's just like an elephant. They're peaceful until they're not.
Right, until their honor is shaken.
Yeah. Or if their herd is in danger.
Right.
So I will tell Aslanleaf that maybe we should put the necklace in the bag of holding, so we can't get to it, but without him knowing it's there.
Grodan is going to take him and put him up next to the wall and like put the immovable rod like up against the wall and him, and not enough to like, cause him any like permanent damage to make it to where he can't move, and then click it in.
Right. You do so, and he's pinned against the wall. He's nice trick. You guys seem to be full of those.
Yes, we're very tricky people. Now,
Aslanleaf says you have no idea.
Loxodon.
About the time you ask the question, Vesmoya stands up and hands this green potion over to Grodan and says, "I think this might be a better use for that question."
Grodan grabs it and then grabs his mouth and like wrenches it open.
Oh!
And just pours it down and then closes it.
As you're grabbing, his jaw and pulling it down. Does this 18 hit your current armor class?
18?
Yes.
It hits my current armor class exactly.
Oh, he bites down on your hand. You don't quite pull hard enough, and he does 2 points of damage and draws a little blood as he bites as hard as he can on your fingers.
Grodan pulls back and then goes to do the same thing.
All right. And a natural 1. This time his jaw comes dislocated. And you pour it down his gullet.
I just want you to know that Aslaneve is enjoying this.
Oh yeah.
Jordan is probably enjoying it too, but yes, Aslaneve, I can understand.
I am.
Grodan felt it dislocate, I'm assuming?
Yes. Oh yeah, it popped loudly.
He's going to pop it right back into place.
Ah!
Ko is gonna be so mad that we're torturing the guy.
He's not here, I know, right?
Does he just
It goes
drink from that? I don't think.
No, he makes sure that he holds it to make sure that he swallows it. And
right.
Then...
He coughs and sputters and screams afterward. And all right, what? He's trying to hold his jaw against his shoulder, but he can't.
All right.
How are you able to take the form of a Loxodon?
The runes. It's the runes.
Runes on what?
The necklace.
The necklace.
Of course, I figured.
And you can see he's starting to space out a little bit. This is more than just Zone of Truth. This is it's a compulsion.
Like the sodium thing.
Well, yeah, it's a compulsion.
Sodium pentothal or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically a charm effect. Vesmoya and her people are his friend, and he must answer honestly.
What is your name?
Rangor.
Rangor. Okay.
Rangor.
Yeah. And you
I'm
can see
sorry for
all
the pain.
all traces of smugness are just gone.
Beskar,
Yes,
can you heal his finger and ease his pain?
I can if you want me to.
Please do.
All right. How much damage did he take?
He took 6 points of damage.
All right, then I'll do a healing word. I'm not gonna waste a good spell on him.
It's a broken finger. It's not like it's the end of the universe, but it hurts.
All right. I cast healing word. Do I do healing?
How much healing?
Sorry, I went to notes instead of Discord. All right. 7 healing, so he's good.
He's better.
Yeah. He took a couple points from rolling down the hill and stuff, and all of a sudden he's feeling pretty good. He looks kind of back over his hand and tries to see, but he can't see anything. Oh, I do feel better. Thanks.
As I
Don't
mentioned,
mention it.
I take no pleasure in causing pain on someone.
Yeah, you said that. Vesmoya leans over. You have about a minute left.
Ask a question, Beskar.
What are the names of the disguises of the agents in all the towns you have? All the agents and the towns.
It's gonna take me a while to
Major
list them out.
cities.
Major cities.
Okay. We have Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate and Sunnyvale. And he starts listing off things.
All right.
I personally don't have them written down, but I can by the end of the episode here and get them to you.
I'm assuming he's somebody's writing this stuff down. But
yeah.
Were there any other agents here?
No, I'm the only one. I came to get as much information about these new Loxodon people that we encountered. I guess we encountered them when some strangers wandered into town.
How did you find out where we were?
Asked around, and finally some people in Mirabar said, yeah, they had seen some people over the hill and looked big and mean and scary and long tusks, and I figured that was probably it.
How are you communicating?
Oh, yeah. The stone, it links back to Althea. You should probably talk to him. He's probably wondering where I'm at right about now. You can tell his eyes are getting heavy. It's like he's stoned out of his mind, you know.
Do either of you have any other questions?
How do you activate the necklace?
Oh, you just hold it in your hand and it connects with the necklace on the other end.
And while wearing that necklace, it allows you to take any form.
It just helps changelings extend their limbs. Like me. It doesn't work very well. That's why I had to pretend to be so wounded. The limbs don't work right, but they look good.
How did you find out about my brother?
I found him. Already gone. Just took his form, that's all.
How did you know about him? How did you know he was my brother, my family?
I didn't. I just came back to town and people started welcoming me and shaking my hand and saying my name or his name.
That checks out.
Yeah.
That does. Yeah, that's a classic.
That checks out.
Yeah.
You will not be allowed to leave, but you will not be mistreated.
No more breaking my fingers?
Not your fingers.
There's no need for that. But I must let you know that if you do try to escape, you will be killed. Is that understood?
Duly noted, sir, Mr. Loxodon. And his eyes start to clear up a little bit, and you can see this effect starting to fade from him, and he looks up and... That's some strong crap you got going on there.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying? And you can tell he's just kind of dazed.
You were saying enough.
So, yeah.
Now that you
go ahead,
understand,
ask me whatever you want.
clearly,
I don't care.
You will not be harmed while you are here. You will not be allowed to leave. But if you try to escape, you will be put to death. Is this understood?
Yeah, sure.
Understand that I do not make idle threats, and that any of these men will heed my order and kill you if you attempt to escape.
Absolutely. I'm sure they would try. And you can tell the smugness is starting to come back into his voice, and he's puffing up a little bit again.
Keep his hands bound.
And his mouth gagged.
Seriously? I gotta drink sometime, people.
Put a tube up his arm. I heard that works sometimes.
So you have interrogated the prisoner. Is there anything else you wish to ask him?
Correction. It was tortured the prisoner, but yeah.
That's technically how most interrogations go, and that was pretty mild.
That was a mild interrogation, I will say.
If it had been co-interrogating him, he would have been riddance. He would have been riddance.
It would not just be a broken finger; it would be a missing finger.
I mean, they're also really glad they didn't give Aslan control over it.
Right? Yeah. Like Grodan was very measured.
Yeah.
Vesmoya stands up and says, "Well done, son," and begins packing up her items. I suppose we should get some sleep before morning, as you all did not get a full rest. So I will see you back at the house shortly. And she gets up and...
Indeed, and Grodan's going to approach the mistress and say, "Mistress."
Yeah, she's standing there. Yes, I have a few questions to ask of you, by yourself, if you don't mind.
Very well. Beskar, Aslaniv, I will meet you back at my home.
All right.
Sounds good.
As you're walking out, she kind of looks around and dismisses visually, like nods at her guards and dismisses them, and they continue to follow, but they stand a good 80 or so paces back. You are friends with these kind, are you?
I would trust Beskar and Co. with my life.
How do I know I can trust them? That's the query.
I would hope that my word would carry some weight.
It does.
You have never known me to lie.
No, that's why I'm asking you very directly. But I'm scared, I'll be honest, to see what I saw tonight, that he took our form.
Althea is the good changeling, right?
No.
No,
Or Althea is the bad one.
bad guy.
Yeah,
he's the good one?
He's the guy that stoned everybody.
Yes.
Sorel,
the original leader of the changelings.
It's only been almost a year, you know.
Yeah.
Our time.
Sorel, the original changeling, the original leader of the changelings. I believe that he truly meant everything he said. He wanted to make a better life for his people. But, as with most, there are always those who look to have their own gain. And unfortunately, this faction that has taken hold there are such a group of people. It is a small group. It is a minority, from my understanding.
So if I help you release this minority, or majority, excuse me, you believe you could put an end to this minority?
I plan on doing so.
I have one request if you do this, and this is the only way I will agree to it, so hear me clearly. Not a single one of the minority must live. Do you hear me?
Very well.
She smiles and nods, and you could tell the smile is a forced smile, like this isn't a happy moment for her. It's a, all right, it is what it is, it must be. You can tell she's made these kinds of hard decisions in the past. And, well, good night then, Grodan. Rest
Good
well.
night, mistress.
Tomorrow we will free your boat and maybe send word to Mirabar. But either way, rest well and we will discuss it tomorrow.
Indeed.
All right. And she goes her way. Her guards follow her, and you go your way, wherever you're headed.
All right. Grodan is going to go find Beskar and ask him to do a sending to the Duke.
All right. What do you want me to say? Has to be under 25 words.
Have him detain the jeweler.
Right.
Let him know that the threat from that minority of Daxletha has made moves. I believe that they have access to much magic there that can be used to get the truth out of him and to ensure that they can get more information.
This is true.
All right. I will cast something, and I will talk to the Duke.
So I know that I personally don't remember the jeweler's name because it was 3 months ago. I don't have those notes right in front of me. I know you probably don't remember the jeweler's name, but let's see if Beskar remembers the jeweler's name.
Yeah, I have a bad memory.
Roll a history check just to see if you can remember. Actually, do you still have your mother's and father's letter, your father's letter?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it was written in the letter. So yes, you do know the jeweler's name because it was written in the letter. You could reference that real quickly and, oh, yeah, that's it. And, okay,
all right.
Off we go.
Yes, let him know. Yeah. Let him know that he will need to use the true seeing.
All right. Code messaged me and said, "I'm there in spirit," in reference to.
We miss you, Ko.
All right.
And Grodan's he's got like his giant hand and his kind of like over his temple because he found out that his brother, who he was very excited to see was alive, is actually dead. And
oh yeah, you uncovered like 20 different points again tonight. I know it was a very battle-less night, but oh my gosh.
I know, that's great. I will cast Sending to the Duke, and I will
You
say...
do?
Yes. I will say, Mr. Duke, sir, the jeweler in Baldur's Gate is a bad changeling of the minority in Daxletha. He needs to be arrested and detained. I suggest using True Sight or some kind of...
At True Sight, your numbers... Yeah, at True Sight, you feel the spell dissipate.
Yeah, it's not good at compartmentalizing or best card.
You're not as bad as Jester.
No.
He looks back, or he looks back. He talks back and says, True Sight, yes, you told me about that. And yeah, I'm assuming instead of the jeweler, you mentioned his name directly. I'm going to assume that anyway. Yes. And he's like, I have not heard of him, but I will send my guards to find him immediately.
All right. Message sent.
At this point, Brigand would like to do locate object.
Okay.
For the necklace that he saw and grabbed and looked at.
All right. You are aware of it.
Walks around town trying to look for it, or something similar to it.
Well, you can find that one. It would be a disadvantage check to find something similar to it. Because you're finding an object, not an object-like thing.
Got it. I thought that they said that you couldn't detect or locate object if it was inside the bag of holding.
Which is why you could try again if you... I mean, you can try if you... I haven't told you whether it's in the bag of holding yet or where it is. But you could try to find another necklace like that. It's just going to be a very difficult challenge because that particular... You would be able to find that necklace, but not necessarily another one like it.
Yeah, it has to be an object that's familiar to you.
Got it. In that case, Brigand wants to find somebody who he can hope is similar to Vesmoya. Was that who built the tea?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is there any other person in the town who does the same thing as her? Otherwise, Brigand would wait for her.
It is 2 a.m, but you can ask around and knock on doors if you'd like to. To do so.
He's not gonna waste his time like that.
I mean, you can. It is very, very late in the morning. I mean, after all the questioning and chasing and making of tea and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, after the sending, Grodan's going to retire to his room and sleep.
Okay.
Because he's still sore from the fight with the lizards and the chasing down the changeling.
All right. In that case, Brigand will bring out his book and prayer beads, look to the stars, do a bit of a ritual, and casts Augury, looking at his cards.
All right. What are you asking in your mind? What's the thing you're searching for?
I will message that to you.
Okay. I'm watching the channel.
Oh yeah, Grodan would have taken back as a movable rod.
Of course. I assumed so, but yes. Thank you for letting me know.
Yep, and placed the guards there and made sure that he's definitely...
Yeah, as you collected your gear and your mother collected her gear, you went out and you noticed that Brigand was not just standing in the foyer. He was, like, out of the building already. You're not sure where he went. Ah.
Grodan's a little perturbed because he kind of liked Bringen until that. He liked him because he seemed like he was, like a little bit more, I guess, patient and thoughtful, which Grodan likes because, of course, look at who he normally runs with.
I take offense to
that. I mean, you guys are you. But, he was a little put off by that because, there's very few humans and very few non-Loxodon have had any dealings with Loxodon, and he felt like, he was assuming that we were just gonna brutalize this guy. And
racist.
Yeah. So he's put off by it. Like
which is why Mirabar is so afraid of you.
He thought better of him.
Right, which is why Mirabar is so afraid of you as well, because they see you as these big people who are out to brutalize. And whether that is true of Bringen or not, I'm not trying to put into his character. I'm just saying that same thought that you're having about Bringen is how Mirabar feels about you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, he would understand,
yeah.
Any time that the outside world has seen the Loxodon since their separation, since their voluntary, separation, it has been usually in scouting parties and, taking down threats like bandit enclaves or slavers or stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, you can always find doing
it with doing that kind of stuff with extreme prejudice, like taking out those kinds of things. But
yeah, I mean, you could look and probably find Bringen. He eventually makes his way back to the house.
Yeah,
because what else
if Grodan sees him on the way back to the house, he would probably approach him.
All right. So highly likely that you're going to encounter him on the way back.
He wouldn't want to speak with him inside of the house, but he would want to bring him.
Yeah, so he would find him.
Yeah.
So as you approach your home, Bringen is sitting on the porch with his book out on his lap, and he's rolling dice.
Much like we do on Tuesday evenings.
Bringen, may I have a word?
Words you may have.
First, I would like you to know that outside of some minor harm which was repaired, the prisoner was not hurt. I would like to say that I am disappointed. You seemed much more measured and enlightened in the amount of time that I have had prior to our incident at the Great Hall. I understand that humans do not see the Loxodon very often, and when you do, you see large beasts. We are anything but. We have had a warlike past, but we have spent a very long time to get past that and make ourselves enlightened. But when something arises that endangers our people, our herd, we will defend ourselves.
Yes, but there has to always be another way. I agreed to participate with the assumption that we would not immediately jump to brutalization. I felt that I was getting somewhere with him. And then we decided, hold him against the wall, break his fingers, give him tea.
You weren't in there for that, were you?
He heard it.
No, but I could hear the screams.
He heard it through the wall.
You need to understand one thing. You are a visitor here. Our ways are different. We generally do not harm those who we perceive as
inferior.
Weaker is not the word, but someone who is defenseless. We generally do not hurt those who are defenseless. However, that prisoner posed a threat to all of my people.
What I saw was an opportunity to make amends, put end to the prejudice. If they are in fact reasonable beings, if they are something to be trusted and something that could be safe, that is why I dropped the spell, so that he would know that I trusted him and that we would have the faith to at least allow him the chance to do right. I would have brought it up had I felt that he was not participating. I have a very good insight, and that is what I'm for. Look at the stars. And he looks up.
There's just ice. Oh wait, no. Are we in an open valley,
no,
or is it
open,
like
no,
covered ice?
No, it's open valley. The ice is
Yeah.
10 or what did I say, a mile and a half away and about several hundred feet tall. The edge of the glacier, but you are in an open valley.
Yep.
It's like Dexlitha, but instead of rock, it's ice.
More or less.
Wait a minute.
I appreciate that you want to find the good. I also look for the good in others. But I've also had dealings with the group that is in control of the changelings right now. And they are not to be trusted. The changelings themselves, as Beskar and Co. have proven many times over, have the propensity for good. But the one who is controlling the outcome of the people right now, he wants to control the world through subterfuge. You are, at the moment, dealing with things that are outside of your scope. And this is no fault to you, friend.
I beg to differ. You see, the Watcher, my patron, sees and looks over the affairs of all, chooses not to for the mere benevolence of free will. When I look at the stars and look at the sky, most people look to see the stars, but they're completely isolated and covered in utter darkness. And that's where most of us lie, in darkness, alone, a single light of our own selves. And every time you see a star go out, that's an entire civilization, a whole people, gone. Each individual brings so much more and so much influence than just themselves. If we had managed to make a deal, we could have found one of the other stars. We could have found another link. We could have gone and investigated. If we are dealing with untruthful people, then there is an easy way to find the truth. And that is merely to seek it out. Every lie that is done well holds some grain of truth. If he lied to us, we would have known, and we would have tried again. Guidance, apparently, the T, which I am very keen to learn.
The issue that I took with this was that you were attempting to make a deal when it was not your right to do so.
That is fair, but I see myself as an intermediary, a third party, if you will. I do not know you and your friends for very long, but the few short time that I have been with you and have experienced and saw the incidents with the Harpies, much danger and strength is found. One must always be careful to yield gentleness before strength. That is my piece.
Generally, I agree with you, but in matters of protecting my people, strength is my duty.
Did you know I speak Orc?
I was unaware of that.
You see, Orcish tribes build entire governments and civilizations on strength. Hence, they raid and pillage and do all the things that they do. Strength is not the only asset that we have. By learning their language and speaking to them, I was able to ease tensions between a chief and one of the surrounding lands. In fact, that particular tribe, all 15 of them, are now, as far as I know, peaceably living among their neighbors. And that was because the people did not know how to communicate one to another. And that is my job, intermediary, between the victims and the crime, if there is a crime to be presented.
So
He said himself he was harmless and had no ill will towards your civilization.
No ill will and harmless can be two very different things.
So Azaniv has been like really nosy, and
Mm-hmm.
since he heard you up there, he's been just kind of like listening in.
Yes.
And he finally, with when he, after the story about the orcs, he climbs up and he tells Springen, I get that you're trying to do what you believe is right, but these people don't care for your point of view. We too once tried peacefully to discuss things and were thrown in jail. Someone attempted to murder me, all in the name, and now it's not just changelings. There's a powerful sorcerer at their side, and he is not intending peace at all. It just talking to him would be pointless.
The head of the snake is different than the body, I would imagine. Nonetheless, now that you've joined us, I do not know of these scenarios and these enemies of yours. But
That's
one thing
why
that separates us from these greater creatures, these old ones and these deep ones and dark lords and others, is the fact that we care about the individual and want to decipher. Just because you've shown that you can wield a sword does not make you violent. But violence is necessary at times. I understand this completely, but I felt like we were presented an opportunity to heal, and instead we caused more conflict and distrust.
and if I know you didn't ask for my opinion, as many times I don't ask for yours, but I don't. When the other team is so hell bent on causing harm and destruction, to go in with peaceful intentions is just a death wish.
Oh, I did not say to go in with peaceful intentions. I did not say that we are to fight this foe with mercy, but we are to find the root and the truth to it. The truth will set you free. Mixing yourself up with the lies and connivings and trickery. Let nature have its part and do its thing. By generosity, you could get just as much as what you would get if you stole. But through hard work and generosity, you could gain more.
But if we do both, then we get both.
As he was he scoffs and he was like, sometimes I wonder what perfect little human bubble you live in.
Oh, perfect? No.
You sit here and you meddle in things beyond just humans. You don't respect other cultures. It's just a very human thing to do.
Yes. Because I'm human, I am short-sighted. Because I'm a human, I am weak. Because I am human, I have no idea what other people are capable of. I understand.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying you're impulsive and rash, and that's saying something coming from me.
He has a point.
Impulsive and rash when I was trying to be diplomatic? Huh.
I just believe that you were messing around something beyond your kin.
Oh, I understand that all right. By the way, is it possible to get insight as far as what he was saying about telling the truth getting them in trouble or being peaceful? Or how would you like to...
I don't get what you're... Yes, you can roll an insight check. I'm still trying to figure out what it is you're trying to incite.
So earlier, I think it was Beskar?
Yeah.
Is that... Yeah.
No, it was Aslaneve that said that we were imprisoned and such.
Is that what we're talking about when they were imprisoned and such?
Yeah, they said they try to handle things peacefully.
Yes.
Diplomatically.
That was Aslaneve. Yeah, and he was talking about...
I want to know if there was information that he was withholding from that to make his case sound better.
All right. Oh, I'm not on dice rolls. Hold on, let me go back to dice rolls. Dice rolls.
Okay, and I have a passive insight of 15. But
oh, passive. Okay, so you're not actively thinking about it. You're just wondering, does something sound untrue in the passing of the moment?
I mean, I could roll.
All right, so 13. You believe that he was withholding a few details to make himself sound better, yes. But you also believe that the majority of that statement was true.
At which point he just kind of smiles and it's like, all right. Well, shall we go to bed? I've made some treats.
Yeah, I just want to search the room he was using.
All right,
the former Drexler's.
Roll it. Drexler version 2.0. Roll an investigation check.
I will do it with bless.
Okay. So you bless yourself first, and then you go into the room and search with your blessed self.
Okay.
Are you looking for something specific, higher DC, or are you looking around in general?
Stuff per... Okay, I got a 21. Sweet. Stuff pertaining to Althea, what the intel he was gathering, what he sent to Althea and the group, anything about Dexletha, like...
Okay.
Guard placements, stuff like that.
Right. So you are looking around. You do find journals, but they appear to be about the war, etc. And this is stuff Grodan has already found and set back down. He didn't take it with him. And you notice with a 21 investigation that the last 30 or 40 pages in most of the journals are not quite the same handwriting. It's like he was practicing his handwriting by continuing thoughts, use the term loosely, and continuing journaling, but doing it in the style of Drexler.
Okay.
So you're not exactly sure. You don't find anything directly saying, hey, by the way, Althea, guess what I found here? You don't find any like direct evidence, but you do see that he's that his journaling and note taking, there is a difference in the handwriting. Okay. You imagine then that he probably either any communication he sent was sent privately already and is out of the room, or he did solely through the stone verbally.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. But yeah.
One of those two things. But good thought.
Yeah.
So you all wind down for the evening. Bringen offers you treats that he has cooked up for the evening. Or put together. I don't know what cooked up or not, but crackers and cheese and sliced olives or whatever. Offers you treats for the evening. What did you offer?
Yeah, apricots if they have them.
There you go.
Apricots on cheese and a bit of cracker. That would be quite good.
Say apricot?
Yes, I did say apricot.
Those would be tasty.
Grodan will take one as a peace offering.
And you all settle down with your peace offerings and the crumbs on your chins and doze off to a fitful rest.
Note to self, Grogan likes apricots.
Yeah, he does.
Azaneve kind of just looks at it, looks at your peace offering, and he just gets down from the roof.
I look at it and go, what do I have to do to get some meat in this town?
On that note, what?
On that note, why was he on the roof?
Because that's where you guys were.
I mean...
He was being nosy.
Oh, I really missed an opportunity there.
So you guys wind up for the evening. You go back downstairs, crawl into bed, and that's where we will pick up next week.
That was awesome.
Grief! That was a role play session, but I loved it, and not at all what I had planned. I had one thread that I wrote down that was maybe 3 sentences on this whole page, and you have uncovered every last ounce of that. Good grief. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you. That was awesome.
It was.
Role play heavy, but I loved it. You got to torture a guy. Missed her opportunity to stab into his eyeballs.
I healed him afterwards. I had Beskar heal him. He was healed better than what he was before.
He was. His jaw and the whole bit. His jaw and the whole bit felt all better. Let's see. What do we have? We didn't do any siren tape sounds tonight, but we did have a lot of fun. We have Start Playing, group I'm with. I believe Bringen, you're also with Start Playing. I waited till the end to announce this because you were late on your way in. I have 3 sessions in the next week through them, so I'm getting booked up very quickly. If you want to book up time with me or anyone else, go to startplaying.games. And Bringen, do you have any games coming up that you want to announce?
Yes. On Thursday, I will be running a chef-inspired one-shot, believe it or not.
Chef. All right.
Yeah, basically the adamantine chef. You go hunt something, kill it, bring it back, cook it, skill challenges and all that, and best player wins.
That sounds fantastic.
It really does.
And
I'll be
and
chef
then I
player
do have a spot on Saturday afternoon. So
nice.
That one, not sure of yet, but I have a great place to start.
What is your username on Start Playing? Your DM name?
Neon Politic, I believe.
You're going to have to
which
spell
is-
that because I know you spell it funky.
Yeah, I spell it funky because the spelling makes me laugh more.
Yeah.
Neon is Neon, and then politic is Politik.
So look him up on startplaying.games if you want to join in on any of those 2 games, and check him out.
Also,
All right,
kind of an
guys.
exciting thing before we go.
Yes, sir.
I think by next week we should have some awesome artwork for the characters.
Yes.
So you guys can get a visual
I had forgotten
of
about that.
what we look like.
So we have new artwork coming.
Yeah.
As you noticed, I've redesigned the page so that I don't click around so much and lose audio. I'm so sorry. But that was still cool. Yeah, so by next week, I hope we'll have all the new pictures in instead of these poor little gray minis that I took pictures of. And we'll have real photos of, of our characters.
They're still beautiful.
Real awesome pictures of our characters.
Yes. So, and by the way, I know he just sent me a message saying, I'm tired, going to bed. I don't know if he's still with us or not. But Keegan, if you're with us, thank you very much. This is going to be amazing. And we're going to give him all the love and shout out in the world when we get him and get things going again. So Thank you guys very much. Man, that was a blast. And I know it was stretched on for a while, but it was amazing. And I love those kinds of things. We'll definitely get more into battle, I know, but that was cool.
Awesome.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Thanks.
All right, well,
Have a good
I'm going
night,
to call
Tom.
it. I'm going to call it a night, and I will see you all next week.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.